Okay, this is the last video on this set. Um, oh, where's Scott? You're not helping. There we go. Now I can see it. On the 10 days of awe, the days of repentance, um, between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is what this video is on. So, it is the day of understanding sin and wrong ways, of divine judgment, and of atonement. Atonement means at one-ment, right? You're wrapping up all the issues you just spent the past 10 days, plus trying to address anything that in your relationships between you and God, you and yourself, others, and nature, right? Those key areas of your life. Sometimes we get busy doing things, and this is a time once a year when you take a breath and make sure that you don't have any loose ends, any hard feelings, any things that you just haven't apologized for, or maybe debts that you haven't paid back, oaths or promises that you know you need to decide what you're going to do with them. Are you keeping your word? Are you do you have a respectable name, a good name, right? All those kinds of things you have been working on at this point. So at the end of this 10 days, you're just pretty much wrapping everything up. The new year has started, right? God is sovereign over all, including his creation. The life cycle keeps spinning. Life keeps going. So it is tradition to spend Yom Kippur in a committed fast or abstinence in order to deny a bit of ourselves and our habits and try on the cloak of death and absence from God and life. This brings a spiritual cleansing and renewed appreciation for the gift of life and the ways of God. It is a time to reflect on the quality of our relationships with God, self, others, and nature. The mercy seat of God may be mentioned as a balance of God's judgment and mercy, and reminds us to observe mercy and forgiveness as others seek teshuvah. Right? So not only are we doing teshuvah with others on our behalf, or there's a give and a take. This time, it's time if there's things that you need to forgive other people for. It goes both ways, right? Most things, most relationships can be a challenge. Right now, it's time to clear the air as much as possible. Moses received the second set of 10 sayings, or 10 commandments, following the teshuvah and atonement of the golden calf. Right? So it's making at one-ment again. It is a time to unclutter our vision and see once again God's hand of divine providence over time and the existence of his creations. Performing teshuvah action as we repent, make amends, make restitution, reach atonement, and enter into a renewed covenant relationship with God, self, others, and nature. It is a time of humble gratitude for the tree of life, Genesis 2:9, and the book of life, Psalms 69:28, and the judgment of salvation that comes from God alone, who writes our name in the book of life as opposed to the book of death. It is a time of judgment, forgiveness, holiness, and purity, absolution, a word I'm not used to saying very often, changes for lasting improvement, and renewed life for a bright new year. At the end, the books of life, judgment, and death, right? The three books that we opened on Rosh Hashanah are being closed for the year, and we begin to build our sukkah. Okay, so that wraps this section up.